The original Zombies crew just might still be alive and fighting inside of the Dark Aether. As impossible as that may have sounded a couple years ago, ever since the Dark Aether saga began, seeds have been sown for their return. And in this video, I want to take a look back at all of the references to them in the Dark Aether story so far, and see if we can build a case for their return and how. We will talk their Tag Der Toten wishes, their dialogue coming back, artifacts around them found in the Dark Aether, and more, and how this will all piece together in Black Ops 7 Zombies, so be sure to stay tuned. Before we go further though, I want to introduce a brand new commentator here to the channel. You may know him from COD Lore Facts. His name is Bob. I have a ton of video ideas that are always simultaneously in the works, and it often becomes very overwhelming for me to be able to balance them all. And one of the biggest things that I've been struggling with on the channel is that I only have so many hours in the day to record. And so I think it's about time I start branching out the channel to get additional voices involved. The caliber and quality you've come to expect on the channel will still remain exactly, and they will still be the driving force behind the creation of these videos, so they will feel in line with everything else produced. However, I've realized that I need to go this route to be able to get the maximum content out for you lot, because as you've seen on the channel, I upload a hell of a lot. I'm literally working at my absolute maximum, and now I want to take it to an even bigger level. So without further ado, I'm going to let Bob continue with the rest of the video, and let me know what you think of this in the comments below. Is this something you want to see, or you don't mind, and I will continue to do it for future videos. Anyways, I will hand it off to Bob now to discuss the original characters and how they've been teased to return for a while, long before it was ever leaked.
The best place to begin would likely be the last place we saw the original crew, Tag Der Toten, the precursor to the Dark Aether story and the finale to the Aether story. Tag Der Toten saw the original crew sitting around a campfire while Victus fight for the Agarthan device. Because of this unique setting for the characters, all getting to sit around relaxing rather than in combat, we got a much closer look at their deeper personalities. During this final hurrah together, each of the characters describes what they will wish for using the Agarthan device. For context, PRIMIS NIKOLAI told each of them that the device would grant wishes, and that this is how they would fix everything. In actuality, the device was used to remove Element 115 from the Multiverse and destroy it. It's debatable, though, whether this was all the device did, or was PRIMIS NIKOLAI simply the only one to get the wish, and this is what he wished for. Originally, I was much more inclined to believe the first option. However, as time has gone on, I've come to reconsider my opinion, so I think we should revisit each wish.
I would like to return to my home, my beloved, before the bombs fell, if only to die by her side.
I see myself at peace, serene, sitting beneath a cherry blossom tree, listening to the joy of my children at play.
I think I'd like to teach medicine, maybe pathology.
You know, the more I think about it, the more I think I'd be a darn good DI. Get those kids toughened up.
I would like to be in favorite bar, but as long as I have vodka, I am a happy man.
I would like to know for sure that I brought honor to my ancestors and the Emperor.
I should probably try to relax. Take up a hobby. Maybe I could open my own morgue.
Let me think about it. Wherever I go, you know I'll be kicking ass.
All of these wishes serve as new fates, a new life outside of just fighting the zombies and suffering in the cycle. While we doubt any of these specific characters got to experience these fates, unless they were born again in the new universe, which is unlikely, We believe it's possible that other versions of these characters may have experienced these events in their own universes, and that these versions may be related to the new versions that we've heard of coming for Black Ops 7. Their memories remain. Time and time again in the Dark Aether story, especially now with the introduction of liminal spaces, we have seen examples of memory manifesting itself. People who are dead or long gone can re-manifest through the Dark Aether and a memory. Starting all the way back in the Machine with the Echoes, and now in Shattered Veil, we quite literally step inside of memories using the liminal spaces. Inside these spaces, we see and interact with characters long since dead. Perhaps, if any of the BO7 maps for zombies are liminal spaces, the characters could simply exist as memories given form inside of these pocket dimensions. Even the tomb's ending states, "Nothing is lost if the memory remains." But have we seen clues that their memory still exists? Angry Russian and the Machine. We know that back on Terminus, Anya Antonovsky heard some sounds coming from the Aether reactor.
Some people like throwing around the phrase, "curiosity killed the cat." I wonder if they're the same people who think cats have 9 lives. Doesn't matter. I'm not the superstitious type, but I am curious. I like to get my eyes on everything and anything I can. Yesterday, I took another look at the Aether reactor. Everyone says it could be a source of near limitless energy. And I don't know if that's true, but I can't deny that seeing it up and running is, frankly, awe-inspiring. I would call it a miracle of modern science, but I think such a phrase is insufficient. So many things don't quite add up. No matter how many people I talk to, I still can't figure out what our real goal is here. And the term supernatural keeps getting thrown around, but that doesn't sit right with me. And yet, sometimes I think I hear voices coming from within the reactor itself. Many sound like people in pain, crying out, lost in despair. Others, like the Russian man, sound angry. And there's also a woman, but sometimes she sounds more like a girl. She might be German, but I can't quite focus on what she's saying. I said I'm not superstitious, but I am starting to believe that some kind of life exists inside the Dark Aether. And I find this possibility extremely troubling.
She mentions inside the reactor that she hears 2 voices that she can't quite understand. One is a sad German girl, and the other an angry Russian man. While before we've pretty consistently theorized these voices are that of Samantha Maxis and Kazimir Zykov, we think that may be an assumption we've considered reality without thinking of other options. If this is people trapped in the Dark Aether, and we know that Zykov is inside the containment sphere, it may not be him at all. It may in fact be another Russian character, Nikolai Belinsky. If he is somehow back and within the Dark Aether, he would naturally be angry. While in Combat of the Maps, he had a generally angry nature already, and zombies and Ethereum existing and infecting the real world after his sacrifice would probably also make him quite upset, I'm sure. So it's worth noting that this small intel on Terminus Island may have been a first teaser for Nikolai's return. ULTIMIS, RICHTOFEN, PANOS.
I hope someone out there can hear this. I'm not quite certain this device even works. You see, I'm an historian. I was touring ancient sites in Peru when it all went dark. Suddenly, I'm in this jigsaw landscape. This hodgepodge of creatures and artifacts, like a collision of cultures and eras. I've seen medieval structures alongside 21st century buildings. I've seen ancient storybook creatures and mechanical monsters straight from a science fiction novel. And the thought I cannot seem to shake now is that the universe has a dumping ground for things that go bump in the night. Others I've encountered assume this is hell, but it's worse. It's the dustbin of history. It's the rubbish dump of time. When the universe is through with you, This is your final stop.
The callback here, other than Drak, is a likely mention of the Origins robots. This means that somewhere in the Dark Aether, some of the universes or times that were thrown into the Dark Aether were eras that had Origins robots in them, so sometime between World War I and World War II. This opens the door for some version of Primis that could be very close to our own to have been perhaps cast into the Dark Aether somehow, or perhaps even hints at a liminal space of Origins somewhere in the Dark Aether. Our new knowledge of liminal spaces makes past interactions with the Dark Aether needing a reassessment, as it's even possible that the reason we see echoes in The Machine in the Dark Aether is that the inverted version of the map is a giant liminal space. Samantha Maxis utters, "It is the only way," and the Forsaken ending, a line directly echoing Primis Richtofen from the classic Aether story. Spoken after her time at Block 8, this suggests Samantha may have accessed memories of the prior timeline, especially after meeting the director and likely learning his identity when she shattered the glass during their interrogation. We know that in the Dark Aether, memories can be given form. His dialogue being spoken once again may be hinting that Primis Richtofen's consciousness or essence could still linger in the Dark Aether. Weaver's preceding line, "Whatever you're thinking of doing, don't do it," originally Dempsey's plea to ULTIMIS Richtofen and the Giant.
Whatever you're thinking of doing, don't do it!
Further ties the Primis crew to this moment. This parallel could imply that Primis Richtofen and potentially the entire crew are still active in some form within the Dark Aether, their memories still manifesting somewhere in the Dark Aether inside a liminal space. Peter and GERSCH still around, so maybe the original crew. Yoder's Cold War intel describes memory orbs in the Dark Aether, specifically mentioning an American spy, likely Peter McCain, and a Russian scientist, likely GERSCH. These orbs, containing their memories, suggest that both characters' essences persist in the Dark Aether post-cycle break. Since Gorod Krovi hasn't occurred in this timeline, GERSCH's orb remains intact, and Peter's orb from Alpha Omega indicates his survival as a consciousness as well. Oftentimes, when people suggest that some form of the original characters or Victus may still be in the Dark Aether, the discussion will be shut down with something along the lines of, "It's been billions of years in the Dark Aether by now. Anyone we know is long gone." And yet we see Piotr recount meeting the orb forms of two different Aether characters via the manifestation of their memories. Just as we keep seeing in this video could be happening with Primis or the original characters as a whole. The Snow Globe. The Snow Globe on Richtofen's desk in Forsaken, identical to the one in Samantha's Remember Forever video, depicts Dr. Monty's house. This symbol of safety and family to Janice Richtofen could be a clue that Primis Richtofen's essence, or even the entire Primis crew, remains preserved in the Dark Aether, perhaps via a liminal space of the house. Its presence in both timelines suggests a connection to their past lives, hinting that their consciousnesses may still exist, waiting to be restored or reawakened in the Dark Aether's mysterious landscape. SDG/Dark Mechanism. The Dark Mechanism in Blood of the Dead and the simultaneous dimensional gateway in Liberty Falls share striking similarities, both using essence from Richtofen in Blood of the Dead and Zombies/Strike Team in Liberty Falls to power an escape from the Dark Aether. The sacrifice of Primis Richtofen in Blood of the Dead allowed the Primis crew to escape, but the SDG's parallel design suggests that someone with knowledge of the Dark Mechanism is who would have helped Dr. Panos build the SDG. This could suggest his contact is perhaps actually ULTIMIS Richtofen, still in the Dark Aether, or a new Richtofen somehow similar to him. We've made videos on this before going into more detail that I'll link on screen now. Samantha's stuff, Firebase C. When Samantha Maxis escapes the Dark Aether in Firebase C, her gear includes items tied to the Primis crew: NIKOLAI's flight goggles, Primis Dempsey's watch, Takio's katana, a Zetsuba no Shima gas mask, and Monty's scarf. These artifacts suggest that the Primis characters' equipment, and possibly their essences, or even they themselves, persist in the Dark Aether. Their presence on Samantha could indicate that the Primis crew is still alive in some capacity, their relics serving as clues to their survival or potential return within the Dark Aether realm, and a sign that Samantha had perhaps come into contact with them during her amnesiac time in the Dark Aether. All out of rabbits. The phrase, "all out of rabbits," first spoken by ULTIMIS Richtofen and Tag Der Toten, reappears in Forsaken via Zykov's audio logs, implying no escape from the Dark Aether. This connection to Richtofen's final moments in the Aether story suggests that his consciousness or memory, and potentially the entire crew, could still be within the Dark Aether. The phrase's reoccurrence could be a hint that their story isn't over, with their essences lingering, awaiting a chance to break free or return. The multiverse was never lost, merely banished. All of this, to me, suggests the idea that it's not only possible there are some version of the original characters in the Dark Aether, but there almost certainly would have to be. With the preservations of memory and places long since gone inside liminal spaces, the platform for these characters' return has been laid out. Craig Houston said before Tag Der Toten released, Activision Games blog, "Is this truly the end of this story? If so, how hard was it to put a bow on this epic legend and say goodbye to our favorite characters? Zombies team. Honestly, we're still processing it. We're in the middle of writing some major stuff for our beloved characters, and it's emotional. With the multiverse established, there will always be other stories to imagine. But in terms of PRIMIS, ULTIMIS, and Victus, this is the end of the line." With the entire multiverse being thrown in the Dark Aether in Tag Der Toten, and Craig professing there are endless stories to tell in that multiverse, it's safe to say that this would have always been the plan, and has long since been established. All of the Infinite still exists, just damned to eternal purgatory in the realm below. Black Ops 7 Zombies maps have been confirmed to be in the heart of the Dark Aether, and we can now explore alternative versions of the original characters once more inside the realm itself, as opposed to the regular universe. This wasn't just a last-ditch shock subversion due to not enough people getting into the Dark Aether story thus far, but rather seemingly something Craig always wanted to do someday. Now all we can do is wait until Black Ops 7, or perhaps the end of Black Ops 6, to see if this reveal will come true. But what are your thoughts? Do you see them returning, or do you think all these rumors are just nonsense? And if they do, are you happy about it? Now I'll hand it back off to TGR.
So there we have it. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments down below on how you found Bob's commentary, and like I said at the start, if this is something that does well and is successful, I want to strive to do it more and more in the future, only so I can get out more and more content than ever before. And I want to give a big thank you to him for working with me on this project. Anyway, share over your thoughts in the comments below as always, and thank you for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're around here for latest and greatest Call of Duty news information. So anyways, thank you for watching.